This is 1945 standard alphabet, okay? And so that's the one that shows you how to lay out.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes,
So tell me about say that B, that letter B there. I mean, how does that really, what are these instructions telling us?
all right, so this is series A. So that means let's look here at an I. So it is an A. So on a 8-inch letter, the stroke width is 3/4 of an inch, and so the height to stroke width ratio is 8 divided by 3/4. So what is that? 32. It's almost an 11. And so, for example, on the B, you have a point here that it's M, so you come on here on M, and depending on your letter height, we'll go to that 8-inch letter. It's a 3-inch wide letter, and the midpoint here is E, so you come in here to E, and it's 4 1/8 inches to the midpoint, and this radius point is down from the top, F and G. And so you can define these radius points and each of the corners and inscribe all the radii and lay it out with a compass if you wanted to. And that's how they actually did them in the early days. What they would do is make stencils, and I was looking for some of those stencils earlier and couldn't find them. But they would just line up a series of stencils and then either spray paint or brush paint the letters on through the stencils. I don't know what this is. What do I have here? Oh, okay, so this is just a 24 by 36 page that shows the kerning for different letter heights between letters.
Let's take a look at that. So any graphic designer alive would be frightened by this thing because we do it visually, right, with a computer. But the fact that I would have to set them to certain percentages, did people really use this system? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think they did, as best I can tell. That it's an engineered system used by engineers.
Right, but what about Joe sign shop guy? He's like, nudge it over.
He follows the instructions he was given.
I don't know about how many sign shop guys you've met, but yeah.
And so,
what do we have here?
A method of spacing letters using the rounded alphabet. And I don't even know, this is 1946. Even
that language is fascinating to me. Alphabet, okay? Alphabet is A through Z. Those are individual types of letters. This is a typeface, it's a font. I mean, there's no graphic designers involved in this conversation.
That's correct. And throughout the history of the MUTCD, up to the computer era of the early 90s, really, any reference to letters is referencing an alphabet as the design of the letters. And you don't see the word font used for that. Now, font and alphabet are used somewhat interchangeably in the lexicon, but it's usually old timers. You can tell if they've been around a while, they call it the sign alphabet.
Well, I do too when I deal with traffic people. But when I talk to my designer friends, I use other language. Why do you think that graphic designers weren't involved in the conversation? Why didn't the government bring in designers?
Because the engineers did it.
Mm-hmm.
They came up with an answer and they had data to say it worked, or they just made a decision. And I think many of the early decisions may not have been based on a whole lot of data. They had something, let's try it. It seems to work, let's go with it. They were feeling their way through this to a large extent.